Hi, I'm Mahalia. Not Mahalia Jackson and not the UK singer, though I do sing sometimes. I the very best, and no one ever was. Dun, 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 dun. Welcome to The Girl in the Background, the channel where I keep you company by talking about literally anything I want. YouTube has slowly consumed my life. It started with those ambient noise channels. And then I was watching a man clean rugs. And then I was binge watching all of Kenny JD's bad movies in a beat playlist. I had to get YouTube Premium. Those ads were just... They got me. They got me, y'all. I've cycled through podcasts, audiobooks, YouTube videos, music albums, you name it. You're probably thinking, why does she need to distract herself all the time? First of all, mind your business. Second of all, you're not my therapist. Unless you are. Hi, Dr. Lucas! I started to think that there had to be more people like me. Neurodivergent, home all the time, alone, who just want something humming in the background just to manage the world a little bit better. Before I was medicated, this was like my number one coping mechanism, just to handle all of those thoughts that were happening all at once. Which leads us to today's topic. Everything, everywhere, all at once. The first few times I saw this movie, I really identified with Joy. Depressed, nihilistic, struggling for her family to see her, feeling like a disappointment in literally every way. But in my last viewing, I really identified with Evelyn.
I love this.
I first saw myself in Evelyn when Wayman asked her, "What are you thinking about?" And the title card, Everything hangs above her, the music starts to swell. Zoned out in her laundromat looking at this musical, you can see this childlike wonder, this longing and yearning and absolute dismay when she snapped back into reality. That is me when I see others living the life that I think I could have led. Oh yeah. We're being vulnerable today. Strap in, baby. Try as we might, because we're pulled in so many different directions. Singing, acting, cooking, being a mom, becoming a kung fu master. We're often left paralyzed. There's not enough time in a lifetime to do everything our heart desires, and so we cling on to the banality of the day to day. And then we grow resentful of it because it just doesn't match what we dream about. Our current reality just doesn't feel satisfying.
Why did you? How? 你在哭吗？我看到我的生活，如果没有你是多么的美好。It was beautiful.
If only we chose a different path 20 years ago. If only I knew the right people and had the right resources. If only I had one passion, discipline, focus. I could be rich, famous, successful. But instead, I'm here in this laundromat with customers I hate and a husband who I think leaves messes everywhere. There's never enough time for Evelyn to get everything done all at once. Her mind is everywhere. Taxes, the party, her daughter, her dad, her silly husband, her wasted potential, the lack of purpose in her life, how little time she has to get everything done, both getting ready for her audit and everything else. She can never be present with the people around her. She's always thinking of ways she can be seen as a failure, by her family, by society, by her father, and by herself. When you feel like a walking disappointment, everything around you becomes a disappointment too. You find it really hard to feel grateful for the things that you have when you feel like you're running behind in life and running out of time. The everyday chaos and disappointments so beautifully portrayed by the Daniels and the actors' performances, are things that I really relate to as an adult with ADHD.
What's happening?
In watching this movie a million times, I can just feel the undiagnosed ADHD just seeping out of Evelyn. Not everyone experiences this level of chaos of being split into multiple versions of you. When you think about why the Wangs are getting audited, it's clear that Evelyn feels directionless and purposeless. She has all these businesses that just don't take off. I mean, to her, a karaoke machine is a business expense because it's the closest thing she'll get to a singing career. She's constantly trying to fill the gap between her dreams and her reality by making compromises. Sure, she's not a professional singer, but she can be a coach to professional singers. Sure, she may not be on stage, but she has this karaoke machine that she can use to perform to her customers, and that, quite frankly, should count. I think a lot of us that were diagnosed with ADHD later in life may recognize that behavior in ourselves. I know I do. It may be a way for us to cope with our unfulfilled potential, goals we may have given up on because we lost our interest and focus. Fully giving up on a dream is painful and damn near lethal when you have 1,000,001 dreams to walk away from. Our dreams may feel like unfinished hobbies to others, and that's a painful perspective to deal with, especially because, we may feel it ourselves. A perfect example of that external confirmation is Gong Gong. Gong Gong is that family member that doesn't see how hard we're working to keep ourselves afloat. He's that parent that projects all of his big dreams and expectations because he too is subconsciously afraid of being a failure himself. To him, we're always daydreaming, never finishing what we started. And that scares him. And it scares us too. It's something we might pass down to our children or to other family members. I mean, it's what led Evelyn in the Alpha universe to fracture Joy's mind to the point that Joy is now Jobu. I got diagnosed late in life. I was and am a massive daydreamer. Maladaptive daydreamer here. But my mind feels like it's the only place I fully had control. I mean, I can kick ass there, I can fall in love, I can be mentored by whoever I want. But it's not enough. Reality, life just passes us by there. It's not enough to live in fantasy, but how can we focus when everything feels equally and urgently important to us?
I'm gonna put everything on a bagel. Everything.
When I first saw this movie, Joy reminded me of the soul-crushing experience of depression, the color being drained out of everything, wanting to cease existing, but not really wanting to be alone in that, because it's the loneliness that wants you to not want to exist in the first place. But I think I see Evelyn now. I think I understand her better. The multiverse is asking Evelyn to do something. She doesn't want to face the consequences of her unfulfillment and resentment, but she has to in order to save her daughter. Jobu Tapaki is forcing her to be kinetic against her will. Joy is looking for someone who can see what she can, experience what she experiences, which is everything, everywhere, all at once. There's nobody in the universe or in the multiverse that can experience it except for Evelyn in this particular universe, because there's so many branches of unfulfilled dreams, failures, and disappointments that she can travel to and understand. And when you're experiencing everything, everything becomes nothing. Humanity becomes insignificant when we're just random arrangements of atoms and particles. It's like saying a word over and over and over again until it loses all meaning. When you experience everything, nothing matters. And when nothing matters, what is your purpose?
She appears to be in a universe where everyone has hot dogs instead of fingers.
Evelyn's mind fractures too, but she's able to add meaning to the ridiculousness. I mean, she's able to travel to universes far beyond the Alpha universe. I mean, who thinks of hot dog fingers and raccoony? I don't even think Jobu can travel there. Joy needs Evelyn, and Evelyn needs Joy. And I often think about what that means for someone who has both depression and ADHD. What's a healthy way of coping with both?
是看到事情好的一面，那不是因为我天真，而是必要，而需要。这也就是我的生存之道。I don't know. The only thing I do know is that we have to be kind. Please, be kind.
And learning to open herself up to love and kindness, Evelyn's able to see life for what it is. It's messy, unfair, none of it makes sense, but the love that we're able to give to each other and to ourselves, it's what gives life its meaning. Treating oneself with kindness is almost impossible when you're struggling to function as a person with ADHD and depression. When left unmanaged, it can feel like you're living your worst self. I mean, depression can't even accept kindness. It's where nothingness lives. It's empty. And the only bit of peace that one can get is non-existence. I mean, we're exhausted by the ups and downs of life. The universe's many contradictions. If it means to be human is to hurt, then why be human at all? Sometimes it takes seeing love and kindness being extended to you to learn how to love and be kind to ourselves. How to, with open arms, really accept your existence and being. Despite the many lives she could have led and the many places she could have been, Evelyn will always choose joy. She's stopped fighting to control Joy and her life, and in turn, Joy makes a different choice. Joy decides to reach out her hand and give life a second chance.
你唔中意，唔接受，都唔緊要，因為呢個就係我。
It took a very long time for me to embrace myself, even just a little bit. I'm hypercritical of myself because I internalized my neurodivergency as a character flaw. I have what I call good girl syndrome, in which I try to be as easy to care for and as obedient as possible, whatever that meant to whoever that was taking care of me. You can call it masking. I think I view it more of like my internalized ableism. To be neurodivergent means to be disruptive and exhaustive to care for, and I wanted to be the opposite of that for my caretakers. What I wasn't prepared for was the amount of resentment I would feel when I finally got diagnosed. Because life didn't have to be as hard as it was. Like, I was really living life on hard mode. And I just feel resentful for always thinking of myself as someone who was always seen as full of potential, but never quite moving the needle forward. It's easy for me to identify with Joy and Waymond, but I'm finally giving myself the space to be Evelyn, to go through this journey of regret and resentment and confusion. I had a very nihilistic view of life. My favorite question to ask was, what even is the point? I just thought I was unlucky, that the stars, God, the universe just didn't like me, that I was doomed to fail over and over and over again, to the point that it became comical to even try. It's like I'm hoping all that pressure will create a diamond so I can show everyone who's ever doubted me, see, I made something of myself. But that pressure only ever undoes me, and I start to wonder why I'm even here. And lately, bit by bit, I think I'm here simply just to experience life. No matter how nonsensical or painful or exhausting it is, whether it matters or not, I'm here to experience life through myself. To show up and show up with kindness. I mean, to really live is to be present with who and where you are. Everything else is just background noise. So if you're like me, struggling to nourish and nurture yourself, trying your best to meet yourself where you're at, if you have all these dreams and desires of what you want your life to look like, but you keep punishing yourself because you're not there, or because you're not meeting whatever expectations, let me and Evelyn remind you, we can do whatever we want.
Nothing matters.